Hello, everybody! My name is Power, and welcome to Let's Play Dark Souls. Now, you're probably thinking, enough people have already done a Dark Souls Let's Play before, why does this need to be done? Well, you know what? It probably doesn't, but this is my first YouTube Let's Play series, and I really wanted to cover a game that I'm familiar with and I know fairly well. Dark Souls is one of the games I've probably played the longest in my life, and aside from that, if you're anything like me, you could always use more Dark Souls. So, uh, let's get started here. Gonna start a new character, and here we go. We will call our guy Power, of course. Enter. Man, I personally prefer the Wanderer. Oh geez, I've been playing Dark Souls 2. I don't remember which. Oh, Master Key, of course. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Face. Sure, good enough. And I'll let this opening cinematic
In the
play.
age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire, and with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark. Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead. The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bullets peeled apart their stone skins. The witches weaved great firestorms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease. And Seath, the Scaleless, betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more. Thus began the Age of Fire. But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers. And man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark side. yes, indeed. The dark sign brands the undead. And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world.
Oh my. That is one of my
Is your fate.
That is one of my favorite opening cinematics in any game. It's beautiful. Part of me wishes there was more, of course, but you know, another part is glad for the relative lack of cutscenes. Oh, hello there, friend. That was awfully nice of him. Alright. Let's get out of here. Now, if you're wondering what kind of run I'm going to be going for, I intend to spend most of the time naked and without a shield. Partly because I want to challenge myself a little bit. I am not amazing at Dark Souls by any stretch, and I am aware of that. There will be moments, one boss fight in particular, most of you probably know who, where I will need to put on armor and behave normally. But mostly, you know, I want to challenge myself a bit. And I also want to kind of show people, I feel like a lot of the fan base for Dark Souls kind of oversells the difficulty of it. And, you know, I've talked to several people, and I used to be one of these people myself, who, you know, haven't played the game despite, you know, being the perfect, you know, type of person who would love it, just because they hear about, oh, it's so punishing, and oh, it's so hard, and you're going to want to tear your hair out. And I really don't think that's the case. It's certainly a difficult game, but I think punishing, in particular, is absolutely the incorrect choice of words to describe it. You know, Dark Souls doesn't hold your hand, but it also gives you plenty if you're patient and know where to look. Alright, now here we start off in the Northern Undead Asylum. For those who are unaware, this is where the people of Lordran apparently send those cursed by the dark sign for fear of, you know, what they may do or bring. Oh, ah! Rookie mistake. Come on. That breaks open this wall here, and oh, hey, it's that guy that helped us out.
You're no hollow. Thank goodness. I'm done for, I'm afraid. I'll die soon, then lose my sanity. I wish to ask something of you. You and I were both undead. Hear me out, will you?
Sure.
Regrettably, I have failed in my mission. But perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family, thou who art undead art chosen, and thine exodus from the undead asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know, and I can die with hope in my heart. Oh, one more thing. Here, take this. An Estus flask. An undead favorite. Oh, and this.
That's gonna be helpful.
Now I must bid farewell. Oh, and thank you.
Alright, well. He is a huge benefit. The Estus Flask is, of course, our main source of healing, for those who don't know. And here we get a shortcut back to the first bonfire. Again, for those who don't know, the bonfires act as checkpoints, essentially. When you reach a new bonfire, you rest at it, and then if you die, that's where you respawn. Here's the key to get through here. Oh, come on, guys. Squishy zombies. Oh, jeez. I forgot about the blood in Dark Souls 1. They took that out, and I've been mostly playing 2 lately. Might as well take care of all these guys, just because. I like to clean places out. Oh yes, but as I was saying, so this is our escape from the Undead Asylum, where we have been exiled for our unfortunate situation. As you can see, we're not looking too hot these days. Oh, look at that big guy. Fortunately, you can get off a really nice attack there to start things off. Take off almost a third of his health. Nah, maybe even more than that. The only real strat with this guy is, like several Dark Souls bosses, just stick close and circle around him. This is awful. Let's get back and heal up a bit. Much better. Come on, buddy. You gotta roll. I promise. I'm not amazing at this game, but I'm a little bit better than this. Alright, one more round in here ought to do it. 2, 3. There we go. Alright. That gets us the big Pilgrim's Key, which we will use to escape this awful, awful place. Now that was the Asylum Demon, one of the demons guarding the exit to the Northern Undead Asylum. But he is not the only guard there. There's another guy that we can come back and kill later, who is very similar, but significantly more difficult. And also, over here, you may be unaware, there's this bird's nest where you can drop several different types of items that are either warm or soft, and get various rewards for them. You can actually get a lot of good upgrade materials that way for your weapons.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen. To leave the undead asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.
And here is where we will spend most of the game. One of my favorite things about Dark Souls 1 is absolutely the world design and individual level design for that matter. But it really is just a beautiful, tight, compact, vertical space with areas you wouldn't even think of being connected to one another through elevators and tunnels and whatnot. It really is just clever.
Hello there. I believe we are not acquainted. If not, I'd prefer to keep a distance.
That guy is Petrus. He's kind of an asshole. Doesn't really like us. He's a cleric of Thorland. But, I don't like him. He's kind of a dick. And I'm not sure he's on the level. If you go back here, you'll find Homeward Bones, okay. Morning Star, and a Talisman. Now, Talisman is what clerics use to cast miracles, or their spells in this game. So, this is, this seems to be old Petrus's personal stash. But if that's the case, then what is he doing with these? Cracked red-eye orbs are items that you use to invade the worlds of other players and, you know, hunt them down and kill them. So I'm not quite sure Petrus really has all the holiest agenda on his mind. Anyway, we're going to take a quick run through this graveyard. Generally, you don't want to be here yet, but it's pretty easy to grab a few key items, like the Zweihander a lot of people like to use. I've never really been a strength build person, to be honest, but that's not just with this game. That's in general. I generally prefer faster characters. Oh, dear. Okay. And we died. That was to be expected, really. It's kind of hard to get out of there. Although, now that I think about it, I should have spent my souls first. See, what happens in Dark Souls, when you die, you leave a bloodstain. And that bloodstain sits pretty close to where you died. Sometimes a little bit further back, you know, if you fell off a ledge and that's how you died or something like that. But that bloodstain contains all of your souls and another resource, currency, perhaps even, that you get called humanity. So when you die, you really want to go back and get your bloodstain so that you can recover all of your currency, because souls act as both currency and experience points in this game. You use them to buy things from vendors and to level up at bonfires. Everybody needs souls to keep from hollowing. Oh, skeleton buddies are still coming after us. That's okay. If we rest at this bonfire, they'll reset. Alright, and I apologize for taking so long to actually start the game, but one more thing before we get going. If you're new and having some trouble, you can actually, there are items you can get called Firekeeper Souls that upgrade how much healing your Estus Flask does, how much it heals you. And there's actually a really quick and easy one that you can grab just by going down this elevator to a later game area. You don't generally want to be here until, you know, the second half of the game, but once again, you can grab one of those Firekeeper Souls pretty quickly and pretty easily. Once again, I'm an idiot. I should have rested at that bonfire back in Firelink Shrine and spent my souls to level up before risking them in this endeavor, but, you know, it happens. Here, this is actually a really nice example of, like I was saying, how Dark Souls is actually nice to you. See, in this area, there are ghost enemies that you can normally not hit at all. You have to be cursed in order to hit them. And normally you don't want to be cursed. It's a terrible status effect that when you receive it, it automatically kills you. And then when you revive, you're at half health. It's no good, really. But you either need to be cursed to hit them, or use an item called a transient curse, which is exactly what we picked up just there. So, you know, you get to this new area, and they actually give you the item that you need to fight the enemies there. And they also drop their own, so, you know, 2 doesn't necessarily get you very far, but they'll drop more along the way, and honestly, I've never had a problem going through without transient curses. Anyway, what we were doing right there is we triggered those ghost enemies who were then coming after us, and they absolutely would have killed us back in that corner. But by saving and quitting, we reset their positions. And it doesn't matter, because I walked off the edge there. What that theoretically would have done is reset their position so that I could run back across the bridge and they wouldn't be mad at me yet, and I could get out of there safely. But you know what? I'm not going to go back and get those souls, because I got what I needed, and honestly, 2,000 souls is not a lot. It's easy to get frustrated in this game if you're not too familiar with it from losing souls. But there are plenty of souls. You can always get more. Don't worry too much about it. This is I can't quite remember her name. She is the firekeeper for the Firelink Shrine bonfire. And there are a few firekeepers throughout the game, and they are where you use other firekeeper souls to upgrade your Estus Flask. It's kind of grim, but, you know. And now we're ready to start the game proper. Sorry it took me so long. Here we have our first group of enemies. Come at me, bro. Got this asshole throwing fire bombs at us up here. Not on my watch. Oh. Ah. Alright, there we go. Take care of those guys. Then if you go down here, take care of Mr. Shield and Sword here. Oh, the ragdoll. I love it. I miss that in Dark Souls too. Grab a soul of a lost undead, and then if you're an astute observer, you might notice an item over there on that bridge that we can get. Now, some people complain about the jump system in this game, and I understand it's a little awkward. To jump in this game, you have to be running, which is to say holding B and moving, and then quickly release the run button and tap it to jump. So like you're holding it to run and then you just tap it. And I understand it's certainly a little awkward, but I don't know, once you get used to it, it's not so bad. I actually kind of like it. They gave you the option to change it in Dark Souls 2, but I tried it out briefly. What they did was they changed it to clicking the left stick. They gave you that option, and I just couldn't get behind it. I like this much better. Also, what I picked up over on that under the bridge there was a Ring of Sacrifice, which is actually a potentially very important item. What it does is it's a ring that you wear, and when you die, it breaks. It's a one-time use deal, but it keeps you from losing all of your souls and your humanity when you die. That is very important. Nope. This guy was going to try and throw a firebomb at me. This guy's going to try and sneak out of here. Vetoed. Alright, now, fog gates probably more than 50% of the time, signal a boss fight, but there are also plenty that are just distinct separations in the level. Oh dear. That is the Hellkite Drake. We will tangle with him later. And here we are in the first true area of the game, the Undead Burg. And the game does not waste time. It steps it up immediately. This is not far from the most difficult area in the game, but they do not make it easy. The Undead Asylum that we started in there kind of had just 4 or 5 enemies throughout it. Most of them were separated. It wasn't a big deal, but no, here we're playing with the big boys. Now, I should note, when you rest at a bonfire, what it does is it restores all of your health, it refills all of your Estus flasks, and then it also respawns the enemies. So sometimes, you know, it's important to think about when to rest at a bonfire, if it's worth respawning everything. Oh, good grief. That was awful. Now, something to note here, I have 9 Estus flasks. The bonfire at Firelink Shrine, when you rest at it, fills your Estus flasks up to 10. That's because it's kindled. The bonfire here in Undeadburg that I just lit will only restore my Estus flasks up to 5, because it's still, it has yet to be kindled. And how you kindle a bonfire is by being human and then spending a humanity to kindle it. And that makes it stronger and gives you 5 more Estus flasks. And originally, most bonfires, that is to say, there are a few exceptions, like Firelink, start you off with just 5. Some start off with 10. And 10 is originally the maximum that they can get up to. But eventually you'll find an item in the game that lets you kindle bonfires beyond that up to 3 times, and you can get 20 Estus flasks. I hate lance enemies. Dark Souls 1 or 2, it doesn't matter. They're all a bunch of jerks. You just hide behind their shields. And unfortunately, see, there's a move called a shield bash. It's like a forward. It's the forward on the joystick and attack at the same time. But this particular weapon I'm using, this curved sword, doesn't actually have a shield block. Instead, it does this little swipe and back roll maneuver, which I never use anyway. So I really wish it had the shield block. There we go. Sometimes you just gotta be patient. Again, this is not a game you can just button mash your way through.
Well now, you seem to have your wits about you, hmm? I trade for souls. Everything's for sale.
This is the first merchant guy we come across. It's pretty cool. I like him.
Thank you kindly.
Now, what's interesting about Dark Souls is that every merchant you can just kill them. If you start attacking them, they'll get up and they'll start defending themselves. But you can kill them. And sometimes they'll drop, that guy in particular, he'll drop the key that I just bought if you kill him, as well as his weapon, which is a really good katana that I really like, actually, called the Uchi Katana. And that is one strat some people use to get a really powerful early game weapon. There's another super powerful early game weapon you can get called the Drake Sword. We will talk about that at the appropriate time. Oh dear. Oh dear. Heal. Whew, that was a close one. Those three guys can get me sometimes. Gonna go up this tower. Take care of Mr. Crossbow Man. You can climb up this ladder here on the left and take care of those three on the scaffolding, but really there's no point. Sometimes they come after you, start throwing fire bombs from back here. Then they're annoying enough to warrant that, I think, but right now they're just chilling over there. I don't have a particular need to go kill them. Looks like Mr. Lance Knight is coming around to visit. Saw us opening that chest. Hey, buddy. Come at me. See, Sword Knights, they're much more aggressive. They take down their guard all the time. Now, down these steps, you can see over there is a Black Knight. And those are some tough guys. You can beat him now. I have beaten that particular Black Knight at this point in the game. What you get is beyond that little archway he's standing in is the blue Tearstone ring, which raises your defense when your health is low. But I'm not gonna do that right now. It would take too long. It's not worth the risk. Oh, I think he dropped a Titanite shard. Titanite is the main resource that you use to upgrade your weapons in this game. It's very important. You want to find a lot of Titanite. Now, here, I picked the Master Key as my character's starting gift. And that lets me enter this doorway, and I can go down there, and there's actually a very cool area down there that I actually like called Darkroot Garden and Darkroot Basin. But in front of guarding the door to that is an NPC who I am not ready to fight yet. Actually, I probably could beat him, but the thing is, one hit would kill me, so if I goof up, he has a lot of health, so it'd take me a while to kill him, and one goof up would mean death, so I'll come back to him, I think. Oh, no you don't, no you don't. Ah, there we go. That's what's called a crystal lizard. They're found throughout Lordran, a few of them. They're fairly rare. And they run away from you. They're a little hard to catch sometimes, but when you kill them, they drop lots of Titanite, usually. Or at least a couple pieces of a really rare Titanite. Now, here we're coming up on the first boss. The first real boss. Not counting the Asylum Demon. And that is the Taurus Demon. So, let's see what's going on there. First we climb up this ladder. You gotta come up here first, because if you don't, these guys will be shooting at you throughout the whole match. Now what's happening is he's actually hiding just over that tower. And as soon as we get far enough on this bridge, He's gonna jump down and come at us. Now, in that house back there a while ago that I used the residence key on, I picked up gold pine resin. We are going to use this. It gives our weapon lightning damage and should hopefully allow us to just cut through this boss a little bit faster. First time through this area, I would definitely recommend maybe trying the boss once or twice before applying the resin, as it is limited, and if you lose with after having used it, you know, it's gone. Now, here's a little bit of a way to kind of cheese this boss. You can kind of use the same trick as with the first one. Just climb up here and then plunge down on him. That gets a really solid amount of damage in there. Ow. Ah, shoot. I made a classic mistake there. I thought I could kill him, so I just went for it, and you never want to do that in Dark Souls. You always want to be careful. You always want to back up, make sure you're healed up, take your time. Otherwise, stupid stuff like that happens. He was almost dead. To that end, it's also very important to keep an eye on that green meter below your health. That's your stamina. And determines, you know, when you can move and attack. And if you run out of it, you gotta wait until it refills before you can make another action, and that can sometimes be a death sentence. You usually never want it to get down to 0. Oh my goodness. I don't think I've ever seen that guy jump like that. That was awfully annoying. As you can see, I died and went back to the last bonfire, and all the enemies here are back. You can usually bait those sword knights into charging at you right away in just such a way that you can dodge back and then get them when they're vulnerable. Once again, these lance guys are just so annoying to bait out the attack. Oh my goodness! Oh, the throws are real. I apologize. I don't know what's happening to me. That was terrible. Should not have died to him. Let's just quickly make our way back then. Saw that guy coming. That's something that you have to do in Dark Souls. You have to pay attention on every life. After a try or two, you realize, okay, that sword guy just kind of sneaks up on me on the left there. So just immediately turn left when you move in there, and he should be there to attack. Gotta learn the patterns. That's what separates Dark Souls from, you know, the punishing game that people make it out to be. It's very consistent. Enemies will do the same thing almost every time. And that's by design, of course. It's the only way a game can be this difficult and not be punishing and unforgiving and unreasonable. Ah, come on, man. I was coming up the ladder. Alright, that time we aggroed those guys and they tried to come back and kill me, so I figured I'd take care of them. Step back. Step back. Ow. Should not have taken that damage. Come at me, big guy. And there it is. Here comes this guy. Alright, and we're back at the boss. Not quite, but there aren't any more enemies here. Gotta get rid of these guys again. Really don't want to start with those guys still alive. Alright, heal up. And we will use another gold pine resin here. I only got 3, so, you know, it's kind of risky, and it's not the most common item, but I want to finish this boss fight quickly, make up for my mistake. The Taurus demon has shamed me, and I will have my vengeance. Man, he's really coming for us. Alright, once again. Hello! Alright, now let's play this smarter. Sure? Yeah! I like to see the... Ah! Alright, time to back up. Time to heal. It's our last Estus Flask. Let's finish this up fast. Roll up behind him. Ooh, there we go. There are a lot of Dark Souls bosses like that, you know, they're big and intimidating, but you really want to stay close to them. And it's actually pretty easy to stay under them, get around most of their attacks. There are a couple bosses where that's particularly important. Now, I wanted to come up here just to illustrate. This is one of my favorite things about Dark Souls. See down there? That is where we came up. That is how we got here. And this game does that a lot. More even than the sequel, Dark Souls 2, which has a much more spread out and horizontal level design. Again, I mentioned earlier, you know, how the level and world design in this is more vertical, and that's kind of what I mean by that. Is that you can often, you know, you'll see towers and climb them, and you'll be able to look down and see everything you've come through. The levels are like that too, where you'll reach higher ledges and you'll look down and say, "Oh, hey, I was just there, wasn't I?" By the way, these are player messages. There's an item you can get called the Orange Sign Soapstone that lets you leave brief messages for one another. And they're all from a choice of, you know, preset words, of course, to prevent profanity. For the children, of course. But people still find ways around that sometime. You would be surprised. Here is our buddy, Solaire. This guy is a champion.
Ah, hello. You don't look hollow, far from it. I am Soler of Astora, an adherent of the Lord of Sunlight. Now that I am undead, I have come to this great land, the birthplace of Lord Gwyn, to seek my very own son. You find that strange? Well, you should. No need to hide your reaction. I get that look all the time. Oh, aha. So I didn't scare you. The way I see it, our fates appear to be intertwined. In a land brimming with hollows, could that really be mere chance?
I mean,
So
we
what-
just met each other once.
Why not help one another on this lonely journey?
Yeah, I'll help you, buddy.
This pleases me greatly. Well then, take this. We are amidst strange beings in a the flow of time itself is convoluted, with heroes centuries old phasing in and out. The very fabric wavers, and relations shift and obscure. There's no telling how much longer your world and mine will remain in contact. But use this to summon one another as spirits, cross the gaps between the worlds, and engage in jolly cooperation. Of course, we are not the only ones engaged in this, but I am a warrior of the sun. Spot my summon signature easily by its brilliant aura. If you miss it, you must be blind.
Alright, now he gave us the White Sign Soapstone, which is, praise the sun indeed, a very important item that lets us put down a signature that people in their game can see, and then they can use that to summon us into their world to help them, and vice versa. Other people use it so that we can see them and summon them to help us. Now, something very crazy is going to happen on this bridge. Get ready for it. We're making a run for the stairs. Ah! Fire! There's the Hellkite Drake, that red dragon that landed on the bridge in front of us earlier. Now here, this is another example of that level design I was talking about. Here we're under this bridge, and you can kind of see Undeadburg over there, where we were. If you come down these stairs, you can kick down this ladder. And then, hey, look at where we are. This is the bonfire we sat at before the last boss. And now it serves as our bonfire before the next area. And I just think that's so cool how much the world in Dark Souls 1 doubles back on itself and creates these interesting shortcuts between areas. Now, let's level up a little bit. Could probably use some more health. I don't need attunement. Endurance is always nice. And we are going to go with a dex build. Some people may be upset by that. I don't know what to tell you. That's how I like to play the game. Quelaag's Fury Sword is the weapon I intend to use for most of this run. It's one of my favorite weapons in the game. If you don't know what that is, get hype. Wait until you see it. It's going to be awesome. And anyway, 2 bosses. The tutorial boss and the first boss of the game. I think that's some decent progress for today. This video's getting a little on in time. So I think I'll leave it there for now. But thank you guys for joining me. Again, my name is Power. I'm a brand new YouTube channel. I hope to put up videos like this regularly. For Dark Souls, at least right now, and then we'll see. Please leave any constructive criticism about my commentary style or anything else in the comments, and I would be happy to read it. And yeah, so I look forward to bringing you guys more content like this in the future. And thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time.